With new Everquest TLP season fast approaching, I recently covered the 5 best server rules, and now it's time for what could have been. I've got here the 5 server rules that were almost good, but didn't quite hit the mark for very fixable reasons. Let's dive in with number 5, which is Salos having reduced lockouts. I totally get the idea they had here. If you want to speedrun an accelerated server, then you've got to have more loot dropping so people can actually clear the content later on when it becomes less trivial. But not like this. Salos had halved lockouts, which meant that instead of a normal 2 or 3 raid nights a week, literally all you were doing was playing EverQuest every night if you wanted to keep up to date with your guild. I feel like they might have learned this lesson already with the popularity of some of the increased loot features, such as with Mischief, but hopefully they'll keep it in mind if another server of this type comes back in the future and they give us increased loot instead of reduced lockouts. At number 4, we've got Agnar. I understand they were trying to etch out a paying customer P99 niche and preserve some nostalgic version of EverQuest, but what is that server doing at this point, really? It's basically a prison now, and you can see that in the forums with all the calls to do something with it lately, such as allowing relaxed TrueBox. I'm not totally sure what the best solution for this server is, to be honest. Let it devolve through time into a Ragefire-esque ghost town? Let it advance a bit? Maybe another expansion every 5 years. Lol. Let me know in the comments what y'all think we should do with this one. Coming in third is the level locked challenge that Vanicky posed to the players. The fact is, people don't really play EQ for a challenge anymore, and 10 levels was just too damn hard for most of the player base. I think reducing this to 5 levels would have resulted in a lot less players being discouraged and throwing in the towel so early on in that server's life. It was really a great concept, but just too hard for EQ's player base to deal with. Next up, I've got Oakwind's evolving features. Now, I don't have anything really bad to say about these rules as they're written. Plane of Power's increased platinum became somewhat of a joke after the whole Sonui thing, but alas. The real thing that made this a near miss is just a lack of pre-programming the feature and QAing it. It seemed like with every single expansion launch, which was supposed to unlock a new bonus, it rarely worked and had to be looked into by the devs to turn it on. It appears on the forums they're still trying to get the trade skill leveling bonus prioritized to be turned on weeks later. Pretty annoying. Okay, and my top almost got it TLP rule is the random loot feature on Mischief and Teak. Let's not kid ourselves, the popularity of those servers is from the free trade part of it, rather than the random loot. But it doesn't become clear why random loot doesn't quite hit the mark until a bit later on into these servers' life cycles. See, at some point you're basically mostly doing group name for AC Augs, and everything else is largely garbage. And it's just way too diluted if you can't really target them anymore. Simple change. Make the mobs guaranteed to pull from their own loot table, and then add some random stuff to that. Anyway, might be a few more years before we get another random loot server, but something to think about in the meantime. Let me know what other ones I missed in the comments, and good luck out there, everyone.